So I'm a part of what's called the Stoll Fair Company, and it was started to produce the East Idaho Renaissance Fair. For the first 2 years of the fair, we just moved from place to place. We had a campground. Our second year, first year, just some private property, and we really wanted some place we could set down, temporary roots, build some buildings, do all that sort of thing, so people would know that's where that event will be. And so in signing a contract with Bear World, they said, you can have this on a contract that you do like 2 events per year, really big events, bring in people, because, we are renting, and so we do have to, from ticket sales and all that, we have to give our dues back. But no, so we signed that contract, and then we realized we just did the Renaissance Fair. We have to do one other one, so we would have probably been more prepared next year for the Christmas Village, but this is kind of nice to kind of just a kick in the pants and let's get to it. So we're trying to get this done so we can fulfill our obligations and also have a lot of fun doing it. So. My name is Stuart Deacon Jr. For the past 3 years, and going into my 4th season, I have been known as Rexburg Santa Claus. My grandfather had been Santa Claus. My father has been Santa Claus, but never in a professional capacity, just putting on a beard and, a suit just for family and doing that. The summer before I started my freshman year at university, I had a little bit extra money in the summer, and my first thought was, maybe I could buy a Santa suit, which is ridiculous because it was in the middle of June, and it was like, yeah.
Well, we had kind of already gone through a big spending adventure with his little tribute band. So the money spending part wasn't a big surprise to me. And I was like, okay, another hobby, let's do it. But I was like, he wants to be Santa Claus?
Pays better than the tribute band.
Yeah, it does pay better than the tribute band, I'll give you that. I was kind of okay with it. I don't think it was that big of a surprise, and I love Christmas. I mean, when we got married, one of the things I brought with me was all my Christmas decorations. And so it wasn't as big of a deal for me as it might be for somebody else. It was just kind of, okay, cool, I guess we're Santa and Miss Claus now, and that's all it's been since then.
So I believe the last time you were here, we had just started pouring the concrete foundations, and so we have all the corners cemented in, and then throughout the base in the middle and on the edges we have legs, and some of those are cemented in as well, just to give it a little extra support. And then we began with the floor right after we did these 2 side walls, and then we framed up the sides and got those up. We're still finishing the floor, so this wall isn't in all the way where it needs to be. So we have to get this nice and tight, and then we'll bring this in. Usually I start the first Saturday of December. This year it is a short season. Thanksgiving is the last week in November, and then Christmas is on a Wednesday. So we only have 3 weekends in December, and then 1 weekend after Thanksgiving. That's the weekend of Thanksgiving in November. So we usually have like 6 weekends to play with. We only have 4. And so this year, my earliest booking, and it's still kind of in the mix. I'm waiting for them to respond to my emails and things like that. They were wondering if Santa could come for their event on November 2nd.
So first game of the season, nervous after it all, or?
For sure. I got here early to set up everything just to make sure things went well, and then I was extremely nervous. So I've been applying everything over the last 2 hours just to make sure I got it right. Our maiden week, we had a tree lighting with Santa Claus, and as Santa, I came out, said hello, and nobody clapped. My mother, who was there, said, a few people clapped, but I just remember looking and all these teenagers were just sitting there like, it's cold, we've waited for this, we want to go home. And that weekend was all right. And then this last weekend that we just had, we had nobody show up for our first day until Santa was getting ready to leave. So a lot of funds from my wife's and I, our house savings, have gone into the Christmas Village and the Renaissance Fair in the past. But I wanted a place where we could have a Narnia experience. You walk through the wardrobe and there's the lamppost and it's magical. And you know, with us, you walk through the gate, you see the tree, you see Santa's cottage, you see the elves, you see a fire-breathing magician, Viking telling folk tales. I don't know how many times I've repeated to people who's like, oh yeah, what's the village about? I tell them the same spiel and no interest. I still enjoy being Santa. My life was changed when I became a father, because I didn't have a father growing up. I've had some kids climb on my lap, and I've asked them about their parents and how they're doing, and they say, oh, it's just mom now. I've had many kids this year. I ask them, what do you want for Christmas? And they say, I just want my parents to be happy. They want gifts that I cannot give, gifts I cannot bring, but gifts I totally understand the longing for. I think that as Santa Claus, it's my duty to give them the gift of magic is still here. I just know that I love Christmas, and Christmas has been good to me, and so I try to be good to everybody else.